containing fertilizer runoff from homes on Pewaukee Lake. Cultural eutrophication definition is a form of water pollution where excessive fertilizers run into lakes and rivers, which encourages the growth of algae and other aquatic plants. Runoff. The definition is surface runoff is water, rain, and snowmelt or other sources that flows over the land surface and is a major component of the water cycle. Runoff that occurs on surfaces before reaching a channel is also called overland flow. Pollutants heavily come from runoff from construction sites, factories, farms, etc. Runoff can bring in bacteria, toxins such as PCBs and or PAHs, sediment, and metals such as lead and zinc. Runoff containment system design. Here's a diagram. I'll explain what's going on in these. Alright, so as you can see, the runoff would run down through the backyard from the house, all the way down to the barrier right before the lake, and the barrier would act like a gutter kind of, and go down to the lowest point in the yard, which is that corner, and then lead to a tunnel that goes. The tube would drop down right there. It's in the bottom right. Tube would drop down to that filter down there, which would run it back, which would clean it and then run it back up to the house so it can be used again. NPK stands for nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Problems with removing NPK. Nitrogen is essential for plant growth. Phosphorus is an important nutrient so plants can complete their production and other cycles. Potassium helps the opening and closing of plant pores, called the stomata. Producers need NPK to live. Phosphorus is needed for photosynthesis, and potassium is a necessary protein plants need. It's difficult to remove NPK from the water because there's so many ways that it gets into the water that it'll never stop coming in. And it's very soluble, plus plants need it, but too much of it can be bad. Also, if there wasn't NPK, there wouldn't be producers to provide for other organisms above them on the food chain. But NPK is hard to filter out, but not impossible, and it has to be done for the overall health of the environment and the people living on the water. Removal of NPK. Here's my diagram. As you can see, it would go down the back of the house again. It would hit the trench down right before the lake, which would lead it right through the filtering tank. It goes to the membrane, and then there's charcoal in the tank, so it completely gets rid of the NPK and discharges into the water. And that's the end.